Welcome back to the Black and Gold Standard Podcast. So, Aaron Rodgers has finally signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers made it official actually yesterday. Aaron Rodgers came in to the facility and signed his contract. So now he's in the fold with the Steelers. Um, he'll be there for the mandatory minicamp, which is coming up this week. So the Steelers got, they have their quarterback. So we're just gonna kind of get into that a little bit and kind of talk about that a little bit and just see kind of like some of my views of what I think what's going on with this signing. Um, Me personally, never really had an issue with it. Um, I just I just knew that Aaron Rodgers, as far as on the field, I think he's gonna be fine. I mean, obviously, as long as he stay healthy, the Steelers protect him. Um, I think he's gonna be fine. It was just some of the off the field stuff that I was kind of concerned about. So, really, the topics we're gonna get into, obviously, Aaron Rodgers signed with the Steelers. What does this signing mean to the wide receiver room now? And just do you think, or do I think that this will work? So those are really the main topics that I want to get into, um, about the signing. So, um, to be honest, do I really think this is going to work? Um, I think so. I actually think so. Um, I think, like I say, as long as the Steelers can protect him, um, because I still think he can play. I still think he's a great thrower of the football. Um, it's no defense that a team can play that Aaron Rodgers, haven't seen. So you're not gonna be able to fool him with a lot of defense, different schemes and all that type of stuff. I mean, the only thing that will hurt him if the offensive lines can't pick up blitz and teams are sending a lot of pressure at him because that's the one thing that he has lost. He's lost that mobility. He's not as mobile, obviously, as he used to be, and nobody would expect that. He's 41 years old and towards Achilles. So, um, the biggest pressure right now is going to be on the offensive line. To me, I mean, the offensive line going to have to be those guys are going to have to be solid. And like I say, they're gonna have to, hold their blocks a little extra longer, maybe, and protect him. But if they can do that, I think Aaron Rodgers can get the, job done. Still, um, I'll go back to my early prediction. Um, 11. I get the Steelers 11 wins. Um, maybe 12. Maybe that's probably stretching it, but I could definitely see the Steelers being 10-7, 11 and 11-6. I can see that happening with Rodgers if he stays healthy and play all 17 games. Um, so I'm like any other Steeler fan. I'm happy that it's over. It was a lot of mess going on. A lot of people were saying a lot of stuff, and now a lot of people um, tone has changed since he signed now. And I get it. I mean, it was just a frustrating situation. But again, at the end of the day, we didn't know what he was dealing with and what he had to take care of. But the bottom line is all that's done and over with now. Aaron Rodgers is in the fold. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers. He will be the Steelers starting quarterback. He'll be at mandatory mini camp this week, so he'll have a chance to work with the receivers and work with the offense, and get things rolling. Now, after that, um, maybe that month that the guys have off before they report to training camp, maybe he might get the guys together and throw throw a little bit with some of the receivers. Um, so with that said, let's go on to our next thing. What does this mean to the wide receiver room? And these are some of the guys that I think could be wide receiver 2 candidates. You got Amari Cooper, which is a free agent, so it wouldn't cost you anything but money. Keenan Allen, free agent. Again, wouldn't cost you anything but some money. Um, Allen Lazard, that would be a trade. They would have to trade with the Jets. That's Aaron Rodgers' guy. To me, I can almost see that happening. Um, that'll be a trade that's not going to be maybe a 6th, 7th round pick, and they can get that done. Romeo Doubs from Green Bay. To be honest, I don't really see why Green Bay would want to get rid of him, but I don't know if a 6th or 7th round pick is going to really make it happen, and I really don't think the Steelers are in the market right now of giving up any high picks. I mean, they may give up a 5th, maybe, but anything under that, I don't see the Steelers, trying to give up. And then you have Gabe Davis, which they bought in last week for a visit. They didn't work out a contract, so usually when they bring those guys in, and if something ain't happening in the next couple of days, more than likely it's not happening. I know he's still kind of dealing with the knee injury. I don't really know what's going on with that, but out of all these guys, my and I'll stick with it. My biggest guy that I would like to see would be Amari Cooper. And the only reason I say that is I think he fits what the Steelers need. I mean, you got DK, which is going to be your down the field big play guy, but Amari Cooper is going to work. I think a guy that could, especially with the quick passing game that Aaron Rodgers like to do. Amari Cooper is the type guy, he wins quick. He's a great route runner. He can get off the press and he's a quick winner. And I just think him and Rodgers will work some serious magic together. But Cooper, I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, I know he's a free agent, so I don't know if he's taking the route of waiting for an injury so he can maybe get a bigger paycheck, or is he still injured? It's just kind of weird because he's kind of like fell off the face of the earth. So I don't really know what's going on with him, but I still think he could play. And like I say, I think him and Aaron Rodgers would fit real good together. And he's a guy that you know he probably would catch 50 balls easy, 50 balls, 600 some yards, 5 or 6 touchdowns. I mean, you can't ask for nothing um, better than that. And then on top of that, I don't really think he's gonna cost a lot. But the thing with Amari Cooper is he's about his bread. I heard some reports that he might have been a locker room issue and all that type stuff. And when I looked up stuff, the only time that Amari Cooper seemed like he has an issue is when they're messing with his money. Uh, I'm here in Cleveland, so he was with the Browns for I think 3 years. In the first 2 years, had great seasons with terrible trash quarterbacks. Um, but then his last year, the Browns didn't want to extend his contract or something was with his contract. And then that's when he held out, didn't come to the mini camps. Then I think he held out a couple of days of training camp before they got whatever deal they got done. So and then even with the Cowboys, um, at the end with the Cowboys didn't want to pay him $20 million, and they were actually going to release him. And they kind of, I ain't gonna really say fleeced the Browns because Browns got 2 good years out of him, but they was able to get that get from under that contract. So I don't know how much a issue you really say that Amari Cooper is. He's just a dude that, hey, when it comes to his bread, you know, he's on it, and he will kind of speak up, and I guess you could say be a little problem. But other than that, seemed like he's a great guy. Like he's quiet, like he really don't say too much, but whatever. Keenan Allen, um, had a decent year last year, but to me, Keenan Allen is a slot receiver, which the Steelers really don't need. I mean, they don't need because you got Calvin Austin, you got Roman Wilson. I think probably will work in that position also, and Keenan Allen guaranteed right now. You sign him, you're only going to get 9 games out of him. He's hurt every year. Um, seem like his hamstrings are made out of Play-Doh or something. I don't know. He's always got these hamstrings issues, and he's slow. I mean, he's crafty. He's crafty, and he know how to get open. But I wouldn't like that pick. As far as the outside guy. But I could see Rodgers. I could see Rodgers maybe trying to get Lazard in here. Um, he's kind of followed Rodgers everywhere he went, so why wouldn't he follow him to Pittsburgh? So I could see him maybe trying to work that out, and I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, not that he's a great pickup, but um, you know, he's just a guy that's worked with Rodgers before, could help the guys out as far as what Rodgers really expecting, where to be at this route, and how he like to throw this, that. So I could see them really bringing him in if Rodgers kind of push the envelope a little bit as far as he want to get him in here. All right, so my thoughts of the signing. Again, for what was left, it's a great signing because to me, it was nobody else out there. Um, my biggest thing is going to be the give and take. And you see, I got Tomlin's picture there, and I got Arthur Smith picture there. And these two guys, and at the end of the day, everything runs through Tomlin, but they're gonna have to kind of give up some. I'm not gonna necessarily say power, but Rodgers gonna want to do a lot of things his way, and you really can't fault him for that. And he's gonna have some certain checks that he like when he get a certain look. He's gonna want to change plays at the line of scrimmage a lot. So Tomlin and Arthur Smith gonna have to really, swallow their pride a little bit and give up on some of that stuff. And I think honestly that discussion's already been had because whatever was going on, Rodgers agreed to it, so I mean he's here, he signed. So I think Tomlin them probably gave up a little bit of the audible that he can audible and all that type stuff. I think they ain't gave that stuff up. And I'm quite sure Rodgers came in and kind of let those guys know, hey, when I get this look or when I see this or this is what I like to change to. These my hand signals that I like to use. So I'm thinking that that discussion was part of the negotiations. So my thoughts on the signing is I think it's a great move. I think it's a great move for the Steelers. Like I said, at this point, he was the best thing that was left. So couldn't really go wrong there. So we'll see. Like I say, as long as Rodgers can stay healthy and they can protect him, um, we'll see how this thing shakes out. But that's really about all I have. Um, that's about all I really have right now. Um, so we'll see. Like I say, mini camp is this week, so we'll see how that goes and see how he looks and I know people would get excited about this and we'll see how Mr. Rogers handles himself in Pittsburgh. But until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll have some updates of the mini camp. So we'll be back on probably um, sometime this week. But until then, take care, and I'll talk to you later.